Hi folks, it's Andy. Welcome to this week's Kendo Rant. Okay, so here we are for another fantastic week of questions. We've got loads today. We've got plenty to get through. Oh my word, they are still coming. Okay, right. We'll jump to them in just a moment. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You know the YouTube magic. It's very important you do that. Did you know? It helps people start Kendo. Last week, what was it? Like 232 people probably started Kendo from it. I think it was something like that. Or was it 300 or something? Look, like, share and comment down below. Go to the video down below on YouTube and comment down there. This is the best Kendo video I've ever seen in my life. And if you write that, you've got to use the word Kendo, then somebody like on the periphery of starting Kendo, they're just about to start Kendo, but they don't know it yet. They're searching something on YouTube that might be related to Kendo or something similar, or Japanese stuff or martial arts or samurai culture, anything like that. And then YouTube suggests this video to them or another video from this channel because you commented down there, and YouTube, being smart as it is, knew to suggest it to them, and they saw it and they said, I'm going to start Kendo, and they went and they started, and you helped somebody start Kendo. If we all do that, if you do that right now, you're going to help at least 500, probably 6, 7, maybe even 1,000 people probably start Kendo from doing that. All right? So do your bit. Go and do it. Kendo. This is the best Kendo video in the world. And I'm so glad I shop at KendoStar.com, and that's the next bit we're going to talk about. KendoStar.com is how you support this channel. KendoStar.com, it's my website, so of course I tell you it is the best Kendo equipment website ever devised in human history. But it's true. Everybody agrees. If you look at our Trustpilot, which is all independent, by the way, you've got to have actually shopped at KendoStar. I can't fake my own reviews. Not that I would. I won't mention any other rival companies. They've got to be verified users, all right? You just look at how well we're reviewed. Everybody's using us already. If you're not, what are you doing? Get with the program. Shop at KendoStar.com. Okay, let's get to these questions, shall we? I created some chat, didn't I, last week with that video about, it was earlier this week, the video about the Shin-pan rules. I put that out, didn't I? If you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it. I talked about how the rules for Shiai have changed slightly since the events of the last couple of years, how the rules are now being interpreted. And we talked about some documents that, that the All Japan Kendo Federation put out. I talked you through them, broke them down into plain, understandable English, hopefully in my northern British accent. But still, I can see that some people are still sort of confused by it. All right, just rewatch the video. I know I talk fast. Go to the little cog symbol, and you should be able to set the set the speed of the video slightly slower, and then you'll be able to tell what I'm saying. And have a good listen. Maybe watch it twice. All right. But I think it's quite clear. But I can tell from some of the comments, some people are still a little bit unclear on it, all right? Okay, and I know there's some questions about it today. So let's get to them. Okay, I have a question for the Kendo Rant, unless someone's already asked it before. How do the new rules regarding Super Zeri in Shiai influence the way we practice the kihan waza, especially number 4, Ouji-Waza? Not sure if it's been ever asked or discussed, and I assume that the same rule of one breath for waza should apply from the moment we, as a junior kendoka, learn Ouji-Waza these days. So, in the Bokuto ni yoru kendo kihan waza keiko ho, number 4 is the kakarite does the men strike, the motodachi blocks the Bokuto, they come to Super Zeri, the momentarily kakarite pushes down and does the hikido. That remains unchanged, okay? It remains unchanged because you were never at Tsubazeri for more than 3 seconds in that kihan anyway. Okay? I know when I say 3 seconds, it sounds like a long time, but it's really, sorry, it sounds like a short time. I went backwards with that. It sounds like a long time, but it's, sorry, I said it again, didn't I? It sounds like a short time. It sounds like only 3 seconds, but it's quite a long time. Look, let's try. 1, 2, 3. There we go. See, that's plenty of time to get to the Tsubazeri. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. That's enough. Okay. So that's it remains unchanged. Okay, it remains unchanged. Okay. Okay, next question. Hi Andy, I hope you're having an amazing day. Yes, I am. It's Friday. It's all good. The weather's lovely today for once in Britain. I have a small Chakuso question. For my upcoming Shinsa for Shodan, it's been indicated that there should not be any candidate identifying marks or symbols on the Kendogi or Hakama. Currently, I do not own any Hakama without my name embroidered on them, something I should correct for the future. I was wondering what your recommendation would be for covering up the embroidery. I was thinking a small patch of fabric that closely matches the Hakama colour stitched on just for the Shinsa, or is this overkill and some tape that's close as the colour I can? Tape that's as close as I can colour match it is good enough. Many thanks from down under. Okay, yeah, look, as a general rule, you shouldn't have any sort of identifying marks like embroidery or name embroidery or anything like that on your Kendogi and Hakama when you do grading. But look, for Shodan, they're not going to be super strict on it. They're usually not, and if they care about it that much, they should put some tape on it for you. But worst case, yeah, get yourself some like opaque tape, black or blue, and stick that over it for the time of the Shin. So don't go stitching stuff to your Hakama and stuff like that. You don't need to do that. It tends to only become a sort of real issue when you start to take higher dan grades. So it don't worry about it too much. Okay. I'm sure they won't. If the Shinsa Kai, like the actual event, cares about that, they'll probably have some tape to cover it. All right, or they'll publish something telling you what to do. Okay, we've got a long one. Let's have a go. Let's have a look. Hi, Fish Sensei. I have a question about tai atari and zanshin. I hope you could shed some light on it, as I know I might have confused different concepts and teachings. I really need to put them into context. I'm currently at IQ level, and my senseis have been trying to fix my zanshin after men's strike recently. They said I should keep my arms forward and finish in the strike. And I do see this as good advice to keep the forward momentum, etc. The problem is when doing jigeko is with a J, by the way, not a G. There's no soft G in Japanese, just so you know. And there's my spelling correction. My other training partners do not step aside after I strike, and I'll not be so sure about where to place my arms. Of course, I'd like to do proper tai atari and place them down a bit to push with my waist, but what should I do if I want to go past them instead? I see a Zanshin video at 316 that you would turn the body around 135 degrees whilst lifting up your hands a bit just above your opponent's head. This is exactly the slight lifting up that my sensei would question me when I tried to do it. I'm not sure. But if I keep my arms straight in all cases, wouldn't that be super dangerous? I'm 6'4", to make it worse. I see Sumi sensei saying several times at different occasions that when doing tai atari, one should not keep the arms straight to the opponent's face. It's very dangerous. So now I'm just unsure what to do with my arms if I don't want to do the standard tai atari, but want to go past instead, upwards or straight to the opponent's face. Also, a related question: my opponent does not move, then how should I decide whether to go for a tai atari, going backwards, or brief bumping and turning aside? What is it about whether I would do Hiki-Waza next? Thank you for your insightful explanation and advice. All right, let's get the video up so we can look at it properly, all right? Because I know this is something lots of people struggle with, yeah? Because it is kind of confusing, especially as we practice kihan in a specific way. We practice our basic in a specific way. And then when it comes to like keiko, jigeko, that sort of thing, we do it slightly differently because it's like the real technique. Because everything we do in kihan isn't necessarily, you know, directly just copy and paste it into what you do into your keiko, you know what I mean? Or your shiai or your tachiai, whatever. So let's have a look. Let's see if we can get a video up here. Right, okay. Let me see if I can get it up on the screen. What did you say? Three something. 316. Okay, right. Okay, let's have a look then. Okay, so here's the video.
After all, here's our opponent. He also wants...
Oh, it's on a bit loud. Let me turn it down. Here's the
to win.
Here's the bit we're talking about.
And we will turn.
So this is how you want to do it. All right. This is obviously in slow motion. Yeah. You make a strike here. All right. Your hands naturally come slightly up this way. All right. Now, you know, obviously I've got to move them out of the way. I'm not going to just, now I'm not, what you don't want to do is bring them back this way. All right. But they want to stay in front of you. This is fine. This is fine. It's not too bad after hitting this way. All right. So that you've got room so that if they don't move out of your way, you're not going to punch them in the face. All right. Because you don't want to do that. Yeah. Raise them slightly so they're above their head that way and then turn. So it's not going past or going through. Man, like this. That is what you do in the kihan, the basics, because it's for practicing the ashisabaki, the momentum. In that case, when you hit, you can leave your hands lower, straight in front of you. Yeah, but when there's a person in front of you, you're going to punch them in the face. You have to care about that. It's not.
And we will turn and keep
them in the face.
Off into the distance like this. This is, okay, finish here.
This way. Okay, nice and relaxed.
On your opponent.
Right, this is how you want to do it.
Here,
when they don't move. Okay, this way. So I'm not bashing into them with tai-atari. They're not moving, all right? So I don't need to...
And forget about him.
You know.
I'm going to look to retreat a good
I
view
need to go crazy about it.
Backwards.
Yeah, and bash him in the face.
We must do the same and
Let's
keep
see if
our eyes on
a
him.
faster example.
Kote!
Okay. This way. This is fine. There's nothing wrong with this. Yeah. So it's kind of like Jordan in a way, isn't it? I guess. All right. What you don't want to do, you know, my hands bounce back a little bit too far there, but I mean that's kind of normal after striking. Yeah. But you don't want to keep them there. All right. You keep them in front of your head, in your face. All right. This way and then return to Chudan. All right. This is how you want to do the Zanshin for men. All right. Let's see if I can find another example as well. Okay, so this is the 8th Dan Championships, happened last week. Okay, here's Eiga Sensei, and this is his winning men's strike. And obviously his opponent doesn't move out of the way, yeah, but he doesn't punch him in the face, yeah. He does the same sort of thing. Now he doesn't have to go past, he just goes back and said the key point is that he takes some sort of distance. You can go whichever way you want, doesn't necessarily matter, but he keeps his eyes on his opponent. Yeah, he doesn't leave his back to them. All right. This is another good example. Okay. Now, in terms of your question about how you should decide whether to do tai-atari, or whether you should do Ouji-Waza and stuff like that, it depends as to whether you have to take the judgment as to whether your strike was a valid strike or not, okay? So if it's a valid strike, then you need to complete the strike. Yeah, you don't make the valid strike and then cancel it out by doing some sort of tai-atari, something like that, yeah? So you have to make a judgment and be aware of which of your strikes are valid and which aren't. If it's not valid, then you can come to Tsubuzari, do tai-atari and Ouji-Waza either, all right? But you don't want to do tai-atari with your arms straight outstretched into their face, yeah? Bam, okay, you missed, drop the hands, tai-atari with the hips, bam, Ouji-Waza, okay? That's how that wants to go. Okay, next one. Hi, Andy, you mentioned in a Kendo gamer video that before you did Kendo, you did other... I've missed out a separation there. Okay, right. You mentioned in a Kendo gamer video that you did, before you did Kendo, you did another sword-related activity. What was the activity, if you don't mind me saying? Love those videos. Do I want to say? It's out there. It's out there, all right? It's out there. I've said it before. I don't think I said it on this channel, but I said it on another channel, All right. There's the clue. Okay. So, if anyone knows, you can comment down below and we'll see if they're right or not. I'm going to keep it a mystery. What are your thoughts on university level Kendo in the UK? Do you think it holds potential for growing Kendo in the UK, even despite the recent drama and shake-up? I don't really know what the drama and shake-up you're talking about is, but I'm not massively involved with the university level Kendo in the UK. I've been to the university championships a couple of times. Yeah, I've got some thoughts on how that would benefit from a few changes, but that's not my my prerogative to say. The university level of Kendo in the UK, it's in a really interesting position. I think a part of the problem is a lot of universities in the UK don't have proper teachers, so they're sort of running these Kendo clubs. And they're trying to work through it themselves. Now, that's not necessarily a negative, because without that, there wouldn't be Kendo in those areas or in that university. But I think more could be done to support clubs like that. Some university clubs do have very good teachers, and some have very experienced teachers. So, you know, and there does tend to be a gap in the level between those clubs. I'd like to see university Kendo grow more in the UK. I think it definitely does hold potential for growing Kendo in the UK in lots of ways. But I do think it requires a little bit more support than it's probably getting at the moment, from various elements within the Kendo scene in the UK. That's probably as much as I'm prepared to say on it at this point. Right. Hi Andy, just had a question. Which Ouji-Waza do you think is the most common, more effective to score ippon? I see waza like kote suriage men or men kaishi do show up a lot in tournaments and are quite effective in shiai, while something like kote kaishi kote is not commonly seen or hard to execute. Which Ouji-Waza do you think have the most use cases? I think probably the most common Ouji-Waza that you see is probably men kaishi do. Probably men kaishi do is probably one, or kote kaishi men. So Kaishiwaza seems to be the most popular. Suriage is sometimes you see it. Probably is probably the next one. I don't count the Banawaza as Ouji-Waza, by the way. But if we're just talking strictly Ouji-Waza, probably Kaishido, because I wouldn't say it's the easiest one to execute. They're all difficult to execute. All Ouji-Waza is hard. But yeah, probably Kaishido and kote kaishi men tend to be the ones people get a hold of first, being able to do a point where they can score the ippon with it. There's other Ouji-Waza that are much more reliable at achieving the ippon, but much more difficult to do. So they don't tend to be used very much. Men nukido, for example. Men nukido is like fantastic waza, and if you do it, it's almost always awarded as ippon, whereas men kaishido probably isn't always awarded as ippon. So yeah, it's but it's super hard. It's super hard to do men nukido, right? So you know, waza like kote kaishi kote, I mean, yeah, it's super hard to do well enough to score the ippon with kote kaishi kote, for a start. And secondly, it's like a really small waza. Like it's like a really confined waza. Pa-pam! It has to happen like this. It can be it's not a really clear one for Shin-pan to see. So sometimes it's difficult for them to make a good and clear judgment on it as well. So there's that to be taken into consideration too. Okay. Men kaishido, kote suriage, kote kaishi men. These ones are really obvious. If you pull them off, like everyone can see it. But if you pull off something like you say, like, you know, kote kaishi kote or kote suriage kote or something like that, it's not super obvious what just happened. So She says, how come Hasso no kamae is no longer frequently used in Kendo? Seems to me that it's a useful compromise between Jodan and Chudan, disrupting your opponent's mae and only really being open for kote because of the extra distance, which makes nuki slightly easier. That said, evidently the reason is it's not used is because it's not very effective, but why exactly is this? Okay, so two things. It's actually, Hasso no kamae is used a lot more frequently than people realize, but it's used by people who are already doing Jordan, okay? So lots of Jordan players will, from Jordan, they'll transition to Hasso intermittently. They won't spend much time there, but they'll go from Jordan. They might use Hasso as like a feint or like for whatever reason. They don't tend to use many techniques from there though. Katatewaza is the main reason you do Jordan, because the main thing that it gives Jordan an example advantage over Chudan, and Katatewaza is better from Jordan than from Hasso. Not always, but for the most part, all right? Secondly, when you're doing Hasso, your left kote is still open, yeah? So it's still a valid target. And hitting, I don't think it really messes with the mae so much. That depends on the player, right? The good. It's you would play against Hasso in the same way you would someone doing Jordan, but their men's open as well as their kote. So, like it's harder to get at a Jordan player's men than somebody's doing Hasso, right? So, like the people, I guess, to put simply, the reason people don't do Hasso no kamae is because Jordan is like Hasso but better. So why would you do that if it's like Gedan? It's like Gedan. You wouldn't really use Gedan because it's like Chudan in every way except worse. Do you know what I mean? So like there's no good reason to use it because Chudan is just better for doing the same thing. And I think the same applies between Hasso and Jordan. Hi Fish Sensei, just a quick word to say I absolutely love my Vanguard extra protective set. Great. Easy question here. What's the best way to clean and shine a plastic door? So the best thing to do is just wipe it with a dry cloth and try and buff it as much as you can in the beginning. There's other stuff you can do as well. You can use like, I've experimented a little bit. You can use some like car polishes and stuff like that. Don't use the ones that like leave marks on stuff, but you know, like there's like T-cut and stuff like that. That can be okay, but you're not going to get it like perfect. But yeah, I mean that's one thing you can do. I've had a bit of success with that. I had a question about Hayasaburi. You previously said that you don't love the drill, but that you understand what it's training. I was curious if you could elaborate on what the drill trains best. I'm assuming it's best for intensity, endurance, and getting your feet to work together as one, but maybe I'm wrong. And if you prefer the drills in place of Hayasaburi. Apologies if I misunderstood you and you actually do love the drill. Thanks so much. Okay, I don't. Anyone that does Hayasaburi properly doesn't love it. Right? You shouldn't. It's like Kokari Geiko. Right? If someone tells me they love Kokari Geiko, I'm a bit like, are you really doing it right? but yeah, I remember in the past I have said, like, as a method of teaching, especially for beginners, I don't necessarily include it all the time. But I do recognize its importance, and it is part of my standard teaching curriculum in my dojo as well, because it is very good at training, yeah, to some extent intensity and endurance, but mostly getting the feet to work together, because in Hayasaburi your right foot and your left foot almost have to work in unison, but not identically in unison. So not just jumping, it has to be 1, 2, but it can't be 1, 2, it has to be ba-bam, 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 ba-bam. And that's really important for all aspects of Kendo. So I think it's really good for training what's called the hikitsuke of the left foot. It's really good for that, for example. But it's hard to introduce to people who are very new to Kendo because they're still getting to grips with everything in the first place. So I don't love it, especially for that purpose. But for more, people who've been doing Kendo a little bit longer, I think it's a great tool for lots of things. Hi Fish Sensei, I know it's a bit of a silly or dumb question, but how do you properly tie and tighten your kote so it fits properly, especially so the end part, so it doesn't end up all dangling? Just looking at my kote confuses me as how to retie it if I needed. Thanks. I love the videos of recent. Okay. So essentially, let me get a kote. Okay, so here I have a pair of my daughter's Kensei kote, made in Japan, beautiful kote. So look, I don't have a pair of my own kote to hand, so I can't necessarily show you. But essentially, the way these want to tie, all right, is they sort of tie around the bottom set of himo here, like that. Yeah, and then just tied again in a knot like that, and then they're cut to length. Okay, then you cut them to length, and the best to wrap a piece of tape around them so they don't, like clear tape or something, so that they don't all fray, so you don't have them all dangling down and about. That's the best thing to do. If it's in the middle of practice and you know they're a bit too long, what some people do as well is if they're a bit longer than this, you can sort of if they're a bit longer than this, you can sort of tuck them through these and bring them back and tie them again, or tuck them through the holes there. As well. There's lots of ways to sort of improvise with it, but the very best way to do it is to, as I say, tie them around the bottom thing here, and then tie them in a knot, just a simple knot together like that, and then just cut them. All right, just cut them so that they're not too long. Okay, we're nearly there. I know it's been a long one, and I know I'm blazing through these, but we've got a lot to get through. Hi, Andy. A few questions for this week's Kendo rant. Can you talk a bit about the kote palm leather made from bleached deer skin over Clarino? I've seen the Myrmidon kote on sale right now, and I wonder if I should get those instead of a second pair of the Vanguard model, which I'm still more than happy with right now. What's the etiquette and dress code for higher Dan exams, 5th Dan and up? Besides gi and hakama, I'm doing this spelling stuff. It's kendogi, by the way. It's a kendogi. It's not just a gi, it's a kendogi. And do you know something else? Do you know what's something else? Some people say keikogi, and this is an often used phrase, but according to Zenkennen, it's called a kendogi, okay? We don't call it keikogi in kendo, we call it a kendogi. According to Zenkennen, I didn't decide that, right? Anyway, being clean and not ripped, of course. Is it expected to show up looking a pristine looking cotton set? Would it in theory be okay to wear a good looking synthetic set, perhaps kati, or is it even advisable to invest in a good cotton set that only leaves the drawers for exams and tournaments? Okay, so a kote palm leather. Let me grab some for some more examples. Okay, so here I am. These are the Kensei kote of my daughters from a moment ago, and these are a set of these are Praetor kote that belong to my wife. I've only picked these out of sort of thing because they've got the different kote palms. These have been used quite a lot, so that's why they're sort of all dirty and stuff. Essentially, the main difference is durability wise, you're probably similar. You get a little bit more out of the synthetic ones that you'll get on the Vanguard Protective, but you'll it's not a massive difference, if I'm honest with you, and you do get a much more softer feel from this white bleached deer skin. Okay, if you mentioned that you are looking between the Myrmidon, which are on sale right now, and the original Vanguard, which are not on sale. So I think both of those kote are about the same price. If they're both the same price, I would advise you to take the Myrmidon. They're a more protective kote. The Vanguard are very protective indeed, but the Myrmidon are like just built to be the most protective you can get. You do get that bleached deer skin, and if you've already got the Vanguard ones, I'd try out the Myrmidon. I think at the price they're at the minute, they're a steal. So that'd be my advice there. In terms of the dress code for higher exams, so your kendogi and hakama, yeah, it shouldn't be ripped and it should be worn properly, okay? It should be worn properly. And if it's a cotton set, it shouldn't be faded too much, all right? Not too much. You should re-dye it, okay? Or use a newer one. It's like an unspoken thing that you should wear a cotton kendogi for your gradings, and it does look better. Now the thing is the new synthetic ones like the kote, they do look very similar from afar to a cotton one, but they are still looking a little bit different. They're better for cake or for everyday practice than for grading, especially for a high level one. Now my kids just took their shodan and nidan and they wore the kote and it's fine. But for example, when I took my 6th dan and when my wife took her 5th dan, when I take my 7th dan, I'm going to wear the cotton one. All right, now what I'll wear is that it doesn't mean I'll necessarily wear a really expensive set. I might do, depends. Some of the, obviously it depends if you like the feel of the thicker kendogi, the sort of heavier feel that it gives. Something like the kinboshi is a great choice for that. But I definitely look at the kurenai. The kurenai is it's a cotton one, but it's lightweight as well, so it's a good compromise, and it's got a synthetic lining in the kendogi, so it feels nice and comfortable as well. So I definitely go with something like that, even if it's just for your special occasions, your gradings, and maybe your tournaments. That's what I do in mine. Okay. Okay, last one. I'm 6th Q and I have my 5th Q grading in June. I'm allowed to wear Bogu after I pass my 5th Q. That's how it works in my dojo. First question, is it normal to be allowed to wear Bogu when you achieve 5th Q, or are there dojos that are allowed to wear Bogu sooner or later? Second question, I'll obviously be ordering my Bogu from KendoStar. Good. Can't decide between the Myrmidon and the Victory. I like the protection the Myrmidon offers, but I really like the look of the Victory that the Victory has. Could you offer some insight to the differences and the length of the mendare for each? Because it's not clear in the photos if they're the same length or if the Myrmidon is longer. The third question is, can the Victory Bogu set be used for weekly practice and Shiai altogether? Since it would be my first Bogu set, I want something that will last me a long time. Thank you for all you do for the Kendo community. And then a lovely little heart mark. Thank you very much. Right, so is it normal to be allowed to wear Bogu after you achieve 5th Q? That's completely dependent on dojo. Different dojos allow you to do different things. Okay? Different dojos allow you to do different things. So it really depends. Some let you wear it sooner, some keep it longer, all right? So don't think too much about it. About the Bogu, okay, right. Both of those are fantastic choices and you'll be very, very happy with either one. The Myrmidon is the most protective Bogu set you can get, all right? It's a great Bogu set. It looks awesome and it's super, super protective, which is really good, especially for a first Bogu set if you're not that used to being hit. All right, so that's one thing I'd say on that. And the second thing about the Myrmidon is we have it in stock. So if you're happy with just a black dye, then you'll be able to get it like within a couple of days. All right, so that's another advantage for it, especially if it's your first set. Having said that, the Victory, it's popular with some people as a first set as well. I know several people actually around the area I live in who've chosen it as a first set because it does look awesome. It's a really beautiful Bogu set. It's also very protective, and it's great for weekly practicing for Shiai too. So it is good as an all-round Bogu set, no doubt about it. The mendare on both sets are about the same, so don't worry about it too much. The benefit the Victory has is that it's custom made, it's made to order, so it's made to fit your exact measurements for a start, and you can choose the colour and the design, and if you choose a different dye, depending on which one you choose, it won't make a massive difference to the production time. And it looks super nice, I get that, but the downside is you're gonna have to wait to get it. Now, if you order it today, what are we, 21st of April? June, depends when in June you're gonna do your grading. But yeah, if you want it soon after you pass your 5th Q, if you're doing it in June, you need to be thinking about ordering it pretty much now, so that it can get to you as soon as possible, because it does need a couple of months for us to make it for you. Okay, so there's that to bear in mind as well. All right, but you'll be happy with whichever you choose, okay? And I know it's hard for me to recommend Bogu sometimes like this because, I don't necessarily make Bogu sets that I think are, I have a very strict sort of set of criteria for Bogu sets that I sell, and they all have to be protective and comfortable and look awesome. So, they're all brilliant. Otherwise, they won't be on my website because I'm strict about that. That's one of the things that sets us apart, frankly. But that is what it is. But yeah, so it's up to you. It's up to you. If you want it fast, get the Myrmidon. All right. If you don't mind waiting a bit and you really like the look of the victory, get the victory. All right. That's what I would say. And that's it. We're at the end. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Lots of kendo, I hope. See you next time. Shop at KendoStar. Bye-bye.